pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman Bowman.
Present.
Alderman Dahlman.
Present.
Alderman Milner.
Present.
Alderman Coburn.
Here.
Alderman Dickinson.
Here.
Alderman Long.
Here.
Alderman Stoll.
Here.
Alderman Stafford.
Here.
Mayor Hassey.
Here, and we do have a quorum. We do have a ceremonial matter tonight. Reappointments to the Park Board. Kathy Ferris, David Atkinson, and Bill Rogers.
These are all reappointments, right?
All reappointments, yep. They were all interested in continuing to serve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Milner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appointments are made. And at this time, I will open public participation. Anybody has anything to bring before the board that's not on the agenda? Good evening, Mr. Butler.
Good evening. How's everybody? First, I'll give you an update on what I'm doing and what several people are doing. We have finally got enough petitions signed to meet the requirements of the Missouri State Audit. That's done. We are continuing to get signatures, and you might want to print this so that we can meet what they say is throughout signatures.
I'm
Because some
sorry,
people don't know.
I didn't hear that.
We're continuing with it.
Continuing to get signatures.
Right, so that
Okay.
we have, anybody signed it that's not eligible voters,
Okay.
okay?
Mhm.
That we have met the qualifications of the state. And last week, as I sat in the audience, I heard several people come and address this board and speak on the city condition with no jobs. And it seemed like they were blaming a mayor that had been mayor for a month. And I found it hard to believe. The people that were responsible have sat up here for 8 years or more. But it all seemed like it was dedicated to Mr. Hassett. And I sat there and I listened to that, and I couldn't believe my ears. And I wanted to clarify, Mr. Hassett, that surely couldn't have been pointed to you. As far as young people going off to college, getting their education, and moving from Harrisonville, I would say it's to be understandable, because there's no Honeywell down here work. No corporation is IBM. We have soap factories in Fuji. And as far as the expansion on the 800 acres out here that's been brought up, I think what you'll find that will come in here to build a factory will be in the same category. There'll be $1 over minimum, maybe $1 here. But you're not going to draw $40, $50 an hour wage earner in a plant, not in Harrisonville. Just we don't have the workforce. We can't do that, or we'll never do it. I would throw them in debt if I could see it possible. I don't see it in the cards. So I think we need to realize who we are. Several comments were made about Harrisonville being a bedroom community. That is what we are. Lee Summit was at one time. Blue Springs was at one time. They're not now. Or if they are, they've upscaled. And today, to draw a business down, a factory that's going to pay that kind of wages, it's not going to happen. We do not have the workforce. I remember back in '95 when our economical development manager, Mr. Finley, came up, made presentation of companies that he's inquiring with. And in his brochure that he put out, he was talking about $6.50 an hour wage earners, that we had a lot of. At that time, the lowest paid city employee was a meter reader. And he's making $15 an hour. There's a large discrepancy between what our earners make and what our city makes. And I'm not saying that because facility salary or the city salary, I'm saying that to tell you where our workforce is. And I brought that to his attention that here we have advertising jobs for factories at $6 an hour. And yet the lowest paid city employee was the water meter at 15. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, I will close public participation and then move on to hearing for business license.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a requirement that the city adopted a couple of years ago when we have a merchant who is in arrears and we're notified by the State Department of Revenue that they are delinquent on their payment of their taxes or sales taxes to the state. They asked us to suspend their business license as well because it's a continuing problem and they've not had any resolution with it. A couple of years ago, the city adopted a procedure where we would afford that business a hearing in front of the board. The state does not participate in that hearing, so this is sort of a one-sided thing, but it gives the board the opportunity to hear from the business involved as to what their problem was or whatever they want to present. We've had a number of those. I don't know if we've had anybody actually show up to the meeting. We contact the business, we have them notified they're aware of this, and to ask if to like that.
Is there anyone present from Morgan Inn Incorporated? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Goff. I don't know what you want from me. I am responsible for being delinquent on my sales tax. I had went through some rough times. Back in end of March, 1st of April, I contacted the Missouri Department of Revenue. Told them I'd gotten a letter and that I needed to do a payment plan. I talked to Tiffany. She said to get online, which I'm going to let you know that I am not computer savvy with the internet. I don't deal with computers. I got on there, I filed like I thought I was supposed to. I thought that was a done deal. Moving on, she had told me, and this is something that people may not be aware of, is that things don't process when you give them your money. It takes several weeks to process. I let it go. I thought everything was fine. Then I started getting some other letters, and I did not know where my money had gone to. So that was a little bit of a battle. Then I got the thing from City of Harrisonville, and so 3 weeks ago I have diligently been working with the Department of Revenue, and it's just been one thing after another. That particular previous thing was that I had mistakenly put that payment into withholding, employee withholding. So it did not apply to my sales tax. They couldn't find this until just a few days ago when I gave them the confirmation number of that transaction, payment transaction. So that's still being processed as of today. Anyway, I have everything here. I don't know what you want. I have taken all the action I can possibly take. Some things, they had money but didn't have the form filed. No, it is not paid in full. And you said it's a payment program? Well, that's what we're working with right now, but they needed a copy of this form, they needed a copy of that form. And then there was a loss of January 2014, a 941, which I was told 2 weeks ago, don't worry about. Though it was a zero due, I didn't owe anything, but it wasn't filed. So that was holding up the thing too, but I was not aware of that again until Friday. So that was something that was just faxed this morning. Anyway, I have stayed in contact with Donna Cook, letting her know the process. She was able to speak with the Kalisa, who I've been dealing with, and she has been able to actually talk to them, which I hear is not normally the case. So that's a God thing for me. But anyway, it is in process. I am responsible for this. I do pay what I owe. I don't have a problem with that. I do ask for, I don't know, an extension till, I don't know how many days it takes to process as we have today. But they are going to do like a payment plan where I make like 2 payments and it's resolved. You will get a no tax due letter when I make that payment plan with them, but we're talking probably a couple more days.
Can we ever get notification after the fact if someone, does the state ever take time to notify the city that there is a process moving forward? Not to my knowledge. Do you know, Mike?
The process is, the state notifies us if there is a delinquency that's gone on long enough, that they've exhausted what they think are their reasonable methods, and they ask us to then pull the license. That's really the only official notification we get from the state until it has been either totally paid up or they've entered into a payment plan, as you suggested. At that time, they'll give a notice of no tax due. And that's a requirement for us to be able to issue a business license, is they have to have a notice of no tax due to the state. And if you're participating in a payment program to get caught up, that satisfies their no tax due because you're working on that schedule. As long as you're meeting that, you're okay. But until you have that payment plan, we won't have a notice of no tax due. And if that's this week or next week, I don't know when that'll be. That's not something that the city intervenes in or has any control over. This is really a matter between the merchant and the State Department of Revenue.
How long of an extension would you require to get your things in order?
I don't know. She has I think we finalized everything. Like I said, there's been a lot of mistakes, and I take full responsibility for my actions, but there's been a lot of, I don't know if they're mistakes, sit-ons, whatever, that I've had to deal with them. I've even had a couple of lies. I'm not going to go there, but been very disappointed, but I've stayed very nice with them. I don't know, what was the question? Let's see.
How long would you need?
They,
If we extended
I don't
to you, how
know.
long would you need to
Well,
get it
she's,
together?
it's being, the money that is being transferred, I'd say probably just a couple of days. Usually everything they
About
tell
2
me is
weeks.
72 weeks. I mean, 72 weeks would be great. They're usually telling me everything it processes, like even just faxing over a paper, is about 72 hours of processing.
Well, since
They kind of decided already.
since we meet every 2 weeks,
I'll expect it.
But, I mean, as soon as I get the whatever, I can have the no tax due faxed, and I will get with Donna immediately.
The documentation from them?
And like I said, I've been in contact with her for 3 weeks, keeping her in the loop,
Steve?
so.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's a couple things you could do, Alderman. You could either just pass it to the next meeting and wait and see what happens, or if you wanted to take action tonight, you could vote to suspend the license but hold it in arrears for 2 weeks or a month, that if you get the notice of no tax due, and that way they don't have to come back again, however you want to handle it. But you can either just roll it to the next meeting, or you could take action, suspend but not do anything until if you get the no tax due notice. Either way.
We'd like to give her 2 weeks to get her things together. Let's
So the
not do
next meeting?
anything. Yeah, till next meeting.
and if it's been straightened out, we forget it.
Yeah.
The next regular meeting of the Board of Alderman would be July the 6th, which is in 2 weeks. Correct? Yeah.
Everyone else good with that?
That meeting is going to be at the community center.
Do you want to make that motion?
July 6th.
Make that as a motion.
With that, make a motion. Yeah, I make the motion that we give them till the next Alderman meeting.
Second.
July 6th.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Long. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll see you in 3 weeks.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
And just for clarification, if you have a payment plan, once the state is satisfied with that, if you have a notice of no tax due anytime before that meeting, let us know, then everything else goes well.
I plan to have that in Donna's hands by the end of the week. Hoping.
As soon as that happens, we'll let the board know.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tracy.
Can I leave?
Thank you for coming.
And Tracy, thank you for your business in town. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we will
Well,
move
y'all
on.
start shopping more, I wouldn't be.
I'll be out.
We will move on to Council Bill 045.
Council Bill 045 is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a sale agreement by and between the city of Harrisonville and MFA Oil Company for the sale of certain real property located in Harrisonville, Missouri. First hearing Council Bill 045.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Lippert.
This is one of the strangest things to see. If it's okay, I may sort of handle both of them at the same time. Believe it or not, this is not that uncommon, especially in original Harrisonville when things were platted 100+ years ago, things happened. Basically what happened, and there's a track sketch in here. At the MFA site at Cedar Street and Locust Street, it has been discovered that the city of Harrisonville owns the properties that their building is on, that their shed is on, and that MFA owns part of Cedar Street. So when they found this out, they requested that we basically swap real estate, and this is what we're doing here. Is swapping real estate and making it right to where they'll own the property that they use, and we'll be able to own Cedar Street and use Cedar Street. Is anybody from, okay, somebody from MFA is here. Do you have any questions for them?
Right.
Anyone have any questions or discussion?
These are both ordinances. This item and the next one are both ordinances affecting this, and the net result will just be to have the paperwork reflect what we're actually doing in real life, both parties, so.
Well, we'll take these one at a time. The first council bill, I would entertain a motion to suspend the ruling and move to the second reading.
So, second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dahlman and a second from Alderman Coburn.
Alderman Stoll?
Aye.
Alderman Coburn?
Aye.
Alderman Long?
Aye.
Alderman Dickerson?
Aye.
Alderman Dahlman? Aye. Alderman Bowman? Aye. Alderman Milner? Aye. Alderman Stafford?
Aye.
Council Bill 045 is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a sale agreement by and between the city of Harrisonville and MFA Oil Company for the sale of certain real property located in Harrisonville, Missouri. Second reading Council Bill 045.
Alderman Dahlman?
Aye.
Alderman Stoll?
Aye.
Alderman Bowman? Aye. Alderman Coburn?
Aye.
Alderman Milner? Aye. Alderman Dickerson?
Aye.
Alderman Long?
Aye.
Alderman Stafford?
Aye.
And Council Bill 045 becomes ordinance 3313. Council Bill 046.
Council Bill 046 is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a sale agreement by and between the city of Harrisonville and MFA Oil Company for the purchase of certain real property located in Harrisonville, Missouri. First reading Council Bill 046.
Again, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the ruling and move to the second reading.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion from, Alderman Bowman, a second from Alderman Milner.
Alderman Dickerson?
Aye.
Alderman Dahlman? Aye. Alderman Stoll?
Aye.
Alderman Stafford?
Aye.
Alderman Bowman? Aye. Alderman Long?
Aye.
Alderman Milner? Aye. Alderman Coburn?
Aye.
Council Bill 046 is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a sale agreement by and between the city of Harrisonville and MFA Oil Company for the purchase of certain city property located in Harrisonville, Missouri. Second reading Council Bill 046.
Alderman Stafford?
Aye.
Alderman Long?
Aye.
Alderman Stoll?
Aye.
Alderman Bowman.
Aye.
Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Dickinson.
Aye.
Alderman Coburn.
Aye.
Alderman Donovan.
Aye.
And Council Bill 046 becomes ordinance 3314. Review of mission, goals, and values. This is the item we discussed in our last work session. Did anybody come up with any changes or additions they'd like to make to this? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve them as they are.
I make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderman Dickinson, a second from Alderman Long. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll keep the missions and goals. Council Bill 047.
Council 047 is a resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute a change order to Young's Waterproofing and Construction amount not to exceed $90,000.
Good evening, Mayor and Alderman. This is from our last work session on Thursday. I think most of you were here, I think just one absence. But basically, Young's has done our sidewalk program for the last, I think, 3 years. Every year they've progressively gotten better. And this year they've offered to do our 2015 project, still holding last year's prices, which were a holdover of the prices from the year before that. So staff thinks this is a good deal, and it does come with a few recommendations.
Any discussion?
Move we approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Coburn, a second from Alderman Dolan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So,
Thank you.
Council Bill 047 becomes Resolution R030. Council Bill 048.
Council 048 is a resolution of the city of Harrisonville approving the preliminary plat of Casey General Store, a subdivision of land in the west one half of the west one half, lot 4, the northeast quarter, section 5, township 44, north range 31, west of the city of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri.
If you don't mind, I'll sort of cover both of these at the same time since it's the same geographic area, but this is a preliminary plat and a final plat. Sometimes we do this concurrently just to sort of expedite the process if there's no infrastructure involved. The property is about 2.05 acres, only one lot. The zoning C2 is set, so Casey's would be permitted by right for the zoning. It is located at the location where the bowling alley used to be at the corner of Westchester and Mechanic. So staff recommends approval and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval on this. Any questions?
Discussion?
It's right where the going on is at, right?
Exactly where the Board of Alderman is at.
To begin with.
They submitted a site development plan and that is pretty close to ready to go. So, yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head how many there were, but there were at least 2 on Westchester.
So there aren't going to be that, that's on the can.
No, there can be none on the can.
None on the can.
No curb cuts on the can. So,
You're not going to get capability to handle the trucks.
yes. Not a lot of them. There's only 5 places for trucks, and I imagine half of them should probably be used for RV or boats half the time.
I don't think I'd want to put an 18-wheeler in there. That's about
But
what
you
my
know,
thought.
sometimes they can do some.
Yeah, I know my
those
son's a
trucks.
truck driver, so.
Yeah, they will have diesel pumps, so they are, going to be capable of doing that.
Good.
Building 4 Casey's.
Yes. And this is going to be one of the newest, or it's a new generation store, so it's going to be something that we haven't seen before. In fact, it's going to be one of the first ones ever built. That's sort of cool.
No discussion. The first item is a resolution. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Bowman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Council Bill 048 becomes Resolution R031. Council Bill 049.
Council 049 is an ordinance to set the final plat of Casey General Store, subdivision of land in the west one half of the west one half, lot 4, the northeast quarter, section 5, township 44 north, range 31 west, in the city of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri. First reading, Council 049.
Again, if there's no discussion, I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules and move this to the second reading.
I make the motion to do that.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Long.
Alderman Dahlman? Aye. Alderman Stoll?
Aye.
Alderman Bowman? Aye. Alderman Coburn?
Aye.
Alderman Milner? Aye. Alderman Dickerson?
Aye.
Alderman Long?
Aye.
Alderman Stafford?
Aye.
Constable 049 is an ordinance to set the final plat of Casey's General Store subdivision of land in the west one half of Lot 4, Northeast Quarter, Section 5, Township 44 North, Range 31 West, in the city of Harrisville, Cass County, Missouri. Second reading, Constable 049.
Alderman Bowman? Aye. Alderman Dickerson?
Aye.
Alderman Stafford?
Aye.
Alderman Long?
Aye.
Alderman Dahlman? Aye. Alderman Milner? Aye. Alderman Stoll?
Aye.
Alderman Coburn?
Aye.
Council Bill 049 becomes ordinance 3315. Council Bill 050.
Council Bill 050 is an ordinance to allow the city of Harrisville to enter into a contractual agreement with the Missouri Department of Transportation to allow the city of Harrisville Police Department to provide traffic control in work zones within the city and to authorize the city administrator to execute the attached agreement. First reading, Council Bill 050.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Board of Alderman. Before you tonight is an agreement with MoDOT and the police department of the city so that they can hire us to do a lot more traffic enforcement through construction areas such as what's going on right now at I-49 and 291. There's another project coming up at 7 I-49 as well and down 7. They would just like some extra traffic control through there and have us out there running traffic for them, and they would like to reimburse us for our overtime so that we don't have to take somebody out in the street and set them up so we can have somebody out there doing so focus on the traffic in that area. We would like to see new agreements on it. Any questions?
Discussion? Well, again, I would entertain a motion to suspend the ruling and move this to the second reading.
I'll second that.
A motion from Alderman Miller and a second from Alderman Bowman.